We welcome you one more time to the Semaj Mind Spa, the mind, the ultimate frontier, where it all happens. Spa, that concept of rejuvenation, refreshment, enlightenment, and of course the removal of toxin. I think change is one of the most important and complicated factors in life. Change. This very minute, almost everyone is grappling with some aspect of change in your own behavior, in your family, with your workplace, with your organization, with the country in which you live, grappling with change. Ah, so we're going to talk about today how to make change happen, the beauty of embracing change, and what you can do to make it happen. All right. So let's see what we can do to share some insights with you. I want to start with the maths of change. Hmm? When the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change, then change happens. Straight mathematical formula. So if the person is able to cope and hold it, fine. But guess what? You are the programmer in this whole thing. Your brain is the hardware, your mind is the software, and your life is the program. So you have an integral part to play in making this process. We know that change is difficult, but guess what? Not changing is fatal. Pick a choice. Hmm? It's just like that. But Einstein presents an alternative. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. It's as simple as that. Huh? So, what are you waiting for? That question by Being a Man. Do you want to be that guy? Do you want to be that guy? You want to hold out? Play hard in? What will you win? All right, we ask the question, who wants change? Right? Who wants change? But if you ask who wants to change, you no hands go up. You waiting for the other one to change first, huh? Who wants to lead the change? It's even worse. Everyone leaves the room. Nobody wants to lead the change because there's risk involved. It's a risky thing. But guess what, folks? Change cannot be managed, it must be led. Leaders are required to buy the change. First up, live the change, sell the change, and enforce the change. And in so many instances, leadership fails at one level or the other. The buying, the living, the selling, and definitely the enforcing. So that's a critical point in terms of, again, how do you make change happen? The leadership of change is so critical. If the change leaders are not converted to become defenders, promoters, and enforcers of the change, they will lead the resistance to sabotage the change. But guess what? This is war. What then should the general do? Let's picture that movie where the general realized that one of the critical persons involved in the whole process is sabotage in the process. Let your mind wander and see what general would do. Do you have such a insurgence in your change process? We know that people react to change. The Kubler-Ross curve helps us to understand the whole process by which it happens. The first thing is shock when presented with the information. Then denial. And by the way, denial is a very interesting defense mechanism because if we didn't have denial, people would just drop dead when they impact the first stress. Then it gets worse. Anger or blame, you start. Then you bargain and self blame. You start blaming yourself. But then depression and confusion as you go through the cycle. But ultimately, the next step kicks in acceptance, then problem solving. We get through it. But There is no speed that we can identify. There's no process we can tell you a timeline how fast it's going to happen. But these are the steps involved. So importantly, what people need to get them through change process is the accompanying assistance. First of all, warning, prepare persons for change. Let them understand what's coming, what's next. Be very consistent in what you share with them. One voice, one song. Listen to the concerns that they have, because in the concerns you will hear some things that you can adjust, you can make right. Provide the support to get them through the process. Share the vision. What is on the other side of the change? You share the vision. That's what will hold them until they get there. Then share all the options, because even though it is a one specific change, but there are options in how you get to it. Then you provide that motivation. You know, Zig Ziglar says that some people say that motivation doesn't work because you have to do it so often. Well, we can say the same thing about bathing. If you don't bathe often and regular, you don't get the benefits of it. All right. So the motivation to get them through the process. Change is hard at first, messy in the middle, but glorious in the end. And Dr. Sandra Palmer likes to remind us that only a wet baby welcomes change. So the resistance is built and it's there, but it has to happen. Now, one thing that we have to come to grips with when you try to change people's behavior. One, the first mistake you make is to assume that people are rational. People are not rational. Two, the second mistake is to assume that people are eager for change. No, they're not. And we have explained that in previous broadcasts. The third mistake is to assume that once someone knows things the way you know them, they will choose what you have chosen. That's not true. So every step of the way, you have work to do. We breathe in, we breathe out. Change is synonymous with life, but is how you get about making it happen. How do you get there? Look, we are built for change. The baby, first carried, then crawl. Babies don't stay in arms all long. Then babies make a decision to walk. They try, they fall many times. Ultimately, they get to walk. Then they run. Ultimately, they bolt. So, this is a built in process that there are issues that try to prevent us, but the built in mechanism is for us to embrace change, but something overrides it. But we can get it to work. We have no choice. It is said that, look, man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. You have to start. Listen, I am stepping out. Even though you can't see it, even though you know it's there, even though you have your fears. But remember, every morning in Africa, a lion wakes up, it knows that it must run faster than the slowest gazelle, or it will starve. Every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up, it knows that it must outrun the fastest lion, or it will be killed. You know, both the gazelle and the lion have the same top end speed, roughly 60 miles an hour. But you see, God has a sense of humor. So it doesn't matter whether you're a lion or a gazelle, when the sun comes up, you better start running. You're either going to be the eater or the ET. So change must happen if you are to progress. Almost every successful person begins with two beliefs. The first is that the future can be better than the present. Hmm? Tomorrow can be better than today. And the second is, I have the power to make it so. Listen, if you don't endorse these two positions, sorry, you are in deeper trouble than you think. So, how do we go about to make change happen? Hmm? How do we do so? That there are some steps that we can use to ensure that this possibility. What can you do that have a good chance of people changing their behaviors? You're working with them. You're striving with them. There are a number of strategies that can be effective in helping people change. The specific approach that is best will depend on the individual and the specific behavior that you're targeting. Let me share some general strategies with you as you can see them on the screen here. One, set specific and achievable goals. Make it clear and achievable so people will get a sense of direction and they can focus their efforts. They know where you're going. Two, listen, folks, there's nothing more powerful than positive reinforcement. By the way, punishment does not change behavior. Punishment suppresses behavior in the presence of the punishing agent. That's all it does. But positive reinforcement, rewarding people for their positive behavior, can help encourage them to continue along that path. It's incredible. We can so many examples. Just a little positive reinforcement. Three, use social support. Enlist the support of friends and family and any other trusted individual that can provide encouragement and motivation to help people to stick to their goals. Hmm? Four, self monitoring. Help people track their progress and behavior so they can see the progress they're making and identify areas where they need to make some adjustment. And they will modify themselves as they move into the new behaviors. Five, and this is critical, are there some underlying issues that are preventing the change? What are some of these underlying issues? Huh? One can be just lack of information. They just don't have enough information. How about fear, stress, anxiety, depression? You identify the underlying issues and address them. And most of all, six, seek professional support. This complicated thing called change is not something you just wish. If you are struggling with a change process, it can be helpful. I shouldn't say can. It will be helpful to see the support of whether it's a mental health professional or other trained professional who can provide guidance and support. That's what we do. It's about whether it is in industry, whether it is in the family, whether it's in the nation. Change is a mental process, first of all. Change begins in the mind. So, look, there are professionals who that's their job. So, we know how to make change happen. Have a wonderful day as you set out to make change happen. Because without it, we are in deep trouble. Have a wonderful day. Have an absolutely wonderful